It's Rut and River.
Yes.
Correct.
R-U-T.
I rest my beard hair on it.
And then you know you're there.
Like a nice, gentle little pillow for my beard.
Right.
And then I'm all up in it.
Oh.
I'm like Kobe beef for sharks.
Can I ask you, what made you guys call me up about, well, this?
That's what tickles our fancy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thought the Rocky Mountains would be rockier.
John Denver is not accurate.
A guy like you, who has absolutely no clue, and I can hear it in your voice, that, I mean, you're a blank canvas. I mean, I can just start with you like from scratch.
You're going to tell me, a grown man, you're telling me what lure to use and how to fish?
You guys didn't snap your whopper plopper off either, though.
Sorry, I blew up over that.
Welcome back, everybody. We're sitting here around a Sonic campfire.
Season 3.
Season 3. It has begun. We are here. This is the Rut and River Pursuit podcast, your home of all things epic in the outdoors.
I think that's true.
It's very much true. Absolutely true. Who do I got with me tonight?
I'm Catfish.
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
It's Bucky.
What's going on, fellas?
Who are you?
Well, who are you, bud?
Sorry. I almost forgot about that part. I'm Ryan.
Who the heck are you?
Trash Panda.
Panda.
Wherever you want to go with.
Panda.
Right on.
You're still there?
What's going on, guys?
It won't go away. We got a show.
Like Lou.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now, for everybody who's been listening for a long time, and even though we're starting season 3, go back, listen to 1 and 2. But we have a knack for finding some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hidden gems.
Hidden gems. Well,
in the social media
in
ether.
this instance, tonight's instance, I don't know how hidden it is, but
Not
we did
so
find
hidden.
this gem, and I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with the Instagram account. But we'll get to all of that. I'm
You've
sure.
been
at
sitting
this
on
point.
this one.
I have been. It's what I do. But on the phone tonight, we have Justin Hodge. Justin, you there, bud?
I am. How are we tonight, guys?
Hey,
Awesome. How are you, bud?
I'm doing fantastic for a Thursday evening.
yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah, man.
So, Justin, just to get us started, I mean, I sort of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I followed or picked up on you and started checking out what you had going on through Instagram. Can you give us a little bit of background? Like, you've been on the app itself for a long time, and the pictures you put out there are, I mean, nothing short of amazing.
Amazing.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. It didn't start off like that. I can guarantee you that. If you scroll, well, you'd be scrolling for a while if you were going to the bottom of my photo album. But I mean, 21,000 images, I believe, or 2,100 images, excuse me. I believe is what I've posted in the past 3 years, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been on Instagram for a while, but as far as my photography account, I really just got it started shooting in 2015 of August. So,
What's your Instagram handle for people that want to look along while they listen? How can
Sure.
they find you quick?
They can find me at J Hodge Productions. And that's my tag there. J Hodge Productions. J Hodge Productions.
Check that out while you're listening, folks.
Very cool.
I don't know. It's funny that the story of my photography started just by taking photos with more or less my phone, editing them in software that you get on apps, and then it kind of went from there. I ended up borrowing one of my brother's cameras. He had a Canon Rebel at the time, picked it up, shot with it for about 2 weeks, and liked kind of the stuff that I was getting from shooting his camera. And kind of the rest has been kind of history. I went and bought a camera and some software in 2015 of August, and I've been shooting ever since.
Now, it should come as no surprise to anybody who's listening, but a lot of these photos are outdoor centric, right?
Yes.
I don't want to.
Yes.
I don't want to pigeonhole us and talk just about the hunting pictures or the waterfowl.
No,
pictures.
no.
But
All things outdoors.
All things outdoors.
Is my jam. Yeah.
Okay, and that's by design, right? That's what you're going for.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy a challenge. So when somebody comes to me with something I haven't ever done before, I will certainly be open to giving it my best go. Something recent that I did probably 2 months ago was get into some food photography. And I had really never done a whole lot of that. And I kind of went into a restaurant one night and set up and shot some photos. And that's one thing that I kind of enjoy now doing too. Not to mention the food you get to eat afterwards. So
I always heard though that Squash was a bit of a diva to work with. So.
That's true. That could be true.
So Justin, these pictures on your Instagram account, is this pictures that you've taken for other people, or are a lot of these your experiences? How does that break down?
A lot of them are they're all my experiences. And majority of them are, a lot of them are my experiences of going out and doing things that I love doing.
Yeah.
But obviously there are things that I go out and I shoot for different companies that I work for. Mm-hmm. And I get hired to go out and do these things. And a lot of my criteria or my stuff that I get is stuff that I post. Obviously with the not posting a lot of stuff that they want to keep for themselves, but obviously things that I find that I can post, I certainly shell that out.
So how cool is that to be able to be outdoors doing something you love and taking cool pictures while you're outdoors?
Yeah. It's definitely one of the coolest experiences. I've spent a lot of time outdoors, but in the hunting and fishing realm, and I've hunted all my life, fished all my life, and now it's actually a more pleasurable experience for me because I get to be there and do that and still fish and hunt, but it allows me to take a step back and more or less take in what's actually happening around me, rather as being in the moment. As the hunter or the fisherman, you're battling a fish or you're shooting an animal of sorts. I get to see the entire experience and see all the senses of, touch, taste, emotion, just everything that goes into an actual experience. And so it's far greater for me to get out with a camera and shoot these events now than it ever has been for me.
Huh. I actually never, I've never done any actual legitimate camera work or filming or anything, but I would have never thought of it that way. I would have always thought like the cameraman's probably like, dang it, I want to reel in that fish, or I want to be the one behind the trigger on this. Yeah. But I see what you're saying though. That's a whole different level to it. Yeah. That's interesting.
It makes you appreciate everything so much more. And that's one thing that I take away from it. And like I said, I've been doing it. I'm 30, pretty young, but I've been at it for a long time, and I've had great experiences of my own. But what's far greater is having experiences with other people and experiencing their time in the woods or time on a boat, and just seeing how they react to certain events. And it really is cool. It's cool to see.
You're 30 years old, Justin, but where are your roots? Where the roots come from that create a 30-year-old that says, I'm more into the photography aspect now of this. You just don't wake up one day and say, I want to be an outdoor.
Maybe you do.
Enthusiast photographer.
Well,
there's an evolution to get to there, and that's where what I want to hear about.
Sure. I don't know. It's just something. I have a very creative mind. I've been blessed. My mother, brilliant woman, and I believe can't X my dad out of this too, though. But my dad they're both brilliant people. And they're both very creative-minded people. And I've more or less I have a creative mind. I write left-handed, eat left-handed, and I do everything else right-handed. So I do use part of my left side of my brain, which is supposed to be more creative, I guess. So
sure.
But I don't know. I see things that, and all photographers will say the same thing is if you're a photographer, you more or less see the whole picture of what's going on. And I find myself finding at least one photo in my mind every day when I wake up. Throughout my day, I look and see what's going on around me and take a mental picture, whether I have my camera or I don't. So I don't know. It's just something I've kind of had for a while, but I hadn't put it into full on, play until, 3 years ago.
I can understand some of that in the aspect of, we have talked sometimes about just slowing down, taking your time while you're fishing or hunting, and enjoying, that ant crawling down your arrow. Enjoy you know, the way that the wind's blowing, you know, it's
absolutely
blowing the fur on that squirrel's tail instead of complaining about them barking at you. The smallest things, like not just seeing the leaf floating down the river, but the holes in it, you know, kind of make it look intriguing the way that the bugs ate holes in it. Now, it's wild if you can slow down your life and notice the small things like that, and then to be able to try to capture that as a photographer to show other people that that's how your mind works isn't really you just capturing like an epic picture of something close up or cool. You're actually explaining people, this is how my mind works with your photography.
Right. Well, it is cool to be able to let some people have same experiences that I've had, but they more or less haven't had a photo to take them back to that particular time. And I've had people send me messages on images that I've posted, and they thank me for posting a photo like that because it took them back to a point in their life where they were somewhere and they didn't have a camera or anything, but it took them back to that time. And there's a lot of people that really cherish those moments. Mm-hmm. And it is cool to have people send me that kind of stuff. It's very, very appreciative of me for them to do that. But it is cool to take a photo, have somebody look at that photo and take them back to a great time or a great experience or some point in their life that they remember. And that's what's really cool.
Is there one picture that comes to mind that kind of pushed you over, I guess you'd say, over the edge from using your brother's Rebel camera to saying, hey, this is what I want to do? Like, was there one experience that did it for you?
Yeah, there was. I had my brother's camera for like 2 weeks. Out of the 14 days, I probably played with that camera for 3 days. So I didn't even use it very much because I was pretty busy. But I ended up, we had a family vacation at the beach, and just to try my hand at it, I told my cousins, you know, hey, I'll do some family photos for you, just to see if I like doing this. And so we went through the whole shoot out on the beach, and I just started, you know, shooting, trying to figure out what I was doing. Had no idea what I was doing, but there was a shot of my cousin and his daughter, and basically he's spinning her around, and I caught it right at the right moment to catch her face, his face, and she's more or less helicoptered, you know, straight out in front of him. And I threw it in black and white. I did it in black and white, and that moment of that photo, you know, and it's not even something, you know, I do family stuff all the time, but that's not my passion. I enjoy doing that, but that's not my passion. But to have that photo be my first photo that I really found that I had a passion and I could do this was at that point in time. It was a really cool shot. Something that I was proud of, not ever really having any experience.
Right. Right. Do you think that's something, being able to see something like you talked about, seeing the big picture, the whole picture of an event or a moment in time, is that something that someone could learn? Is it something that can be taught, or is that either you got it or you don't?
That's tough. That's tough to say.
I'm asking for a friend.
That's a tough question, because I feel like you have to have some God-given talent to more or less see that kind of stuff.
Sorry, Stevie, you're out.
There's people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see things differently than a lot of people do, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm better than you are by any means. I'm just, the way I look at things is just a little bit different, I feel like. And guys that are great with a camera, they see the same stuff that I see. But it's, as far as learning, if you have, and I get people sending me messages all the time to check out their stuff. And, you know, it was actually kind of cool the other day, a guy, I think the guy was like 9 years old. He sends me his website, And he's showing me images, and he's shooting some awesome macro images. And I'm like, holy smokes, you're 9 years old. I'm 30, and I just started 3 years ago, and this kid is on his way to doing something special. But he gets it, but he's 9 years old. So it's cool. So I went back and I messaged back with him and told him to keep shooting and all of that. But it is cool to have people kind of send me stuff and ask my opinions on things. But in actuality, I'm 3 years into this, and I'm part-time. I shoot photography part-time. I didn't tell you guys that earlier, as I do all my photography on the side. But it's cool to have people ask me questions and ask my advice, even though I'm super new at all this too, and I'm learning just like other people are. So
yeah.
So to answer your question, I say you more or less have to be born with some sort of ability, and then the rest can be learned.
I don't think that photography is that far off of hunting and fishing. I don't think that you can ever stop learning.
Absolutely.
That's what makes it so, appealing to the artistic side of your brain, I believe.
Every time I shoot, I find that I get better at the little things that I wasn't great at beforehand. Whether that's, choosing the right lighting, the right settings on my camera, or going into post and just trying to edit things with a little bit different, a little bit cleaner look, or, not over editing too much. So, because there's a fine line between over editing and edit when you're editing things. So
that's not true.
I was just looking at Will while you're saying that.
Can't over edit.
But no, it's cool. It's very cool. And I learn every day. Every day that I shoot, I learn something new about myself, and definitely learn something new about my gear every time I go out there and shoot.
Yeah, along the lines of over editing, you can over edit, absolutely, no question about it. I'm joking because I think what it is just you do it until it's right, whether it's right in your head or right in your, whatever it is. You don't stop tweaking things and adjusting things until it's the way you want it to sound or look.
Absolutely.
And it's
I've jumped back into shoot that I've done like a year and a half ago, and I'll jump in and I'll retweak things today that I didn't do back then, and just completely design the edit that and edit it better a lot of times.
Yeah.
So that is.
Well, you learn the tricks along the way. There's no question about that. It's just time under tension,
Sure.
Put yourself in there and don't come out until you have it,
Right.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I just I went all the way to the bottom of the Instagram account, and I found those pictures that you were just talking about.
You finally got there, huh?
He's helicoptering. Yeah, I've been doing it. How long have we've been recording? I've been scrolling to the bottom. I finally made it to the bottom. You're right, though, man. Some of that old stuff is no good. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, hey.
No, man. These things
I know how bad that stuff was.
It's not at all. These things are all amazing.
No, it's solid the whole way through.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And I'm on picture number 1, and it's phenomenal. It's obviously some sort of boardwalk or something going out somewhere, but it's cool.
That was in a boardwalk in Bluffton, South Carolina.
It's amazing. But question for you is similar to a lot of the other arts and stuff that are out there. We always hear often about writer's block. I'm wondering, when you're out on these scenarios, you can only stand on the back of a boat when they're charter fishing so many different ways. You can only be sitting in a duck blind so many different ways. Like, do you ever find that you're like, how can I find some new or creative way to get an angle or a different picture? Do you ever find a block like that?
Being 3 years in, every experience is completely different. Especially with like the people you're on the boat with, the boat that you're on, or the experience, the duck blind that you're in with somebody, it's all completely different. So as far as like taking something along the lines of the same shot, you're still never shooting the same shot, because it's different in the ways of the criteria that's in the actual image of, who it is, where you are, different location, different fish. So it's all pretty new to me. Most times that I go out and shoot, and it's fun to experience those experiences with the people that you're with, because you get to, like I was saying earlier, you get to see those experiences, their facial expressions, how they experience it, completely different. So it really, as far as a block when you're shooting, I wouldn't say I could shoot the same shot over and over again, but it's gonna, if I'm in a different situation, it's always going to be different cut by the people you're with, or the color of the dog that you're duck hunting with, whether it's yellow, black, golden retriever. It's all different. So I don't run into that problem.
Okay.
Has social media changed how you take pictures at all?
You have to be more creative nowadays than more than ever.
That's true.
That's for sure. If you're not creative, you don't pick up the more or less the likes or the followership that you're looking for.
That's why
I posted a picture of a doe today, and that picture, it's weird. I've got this really interesting following. I do a lot of fishing and I hunt a lot, but I don't get my camera with me a lot when I hunt. I always have my camera with me when I fish, for the most part. Or a lot of the hunting that I do, say deer hunting, is by myself. So I don't know. It's a definitely an interesting take on what people love from you and what they don't like. I did a shot of Bonefish Boatworks Bohemian Skiff I shot that photo in July and posted it the other night, and it got over 1,000 likes. And then I post something that's completely different, say, a hunting experience, and you're like 200 likes. So it is social media you really have to know, what you're doing more or less to keep that creative flow where people are going to like and not like whatever they want. It's just
right.
The boat shot was definitely, it was a sunset in St. Pete, and it was an incredible sunset, probably one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. And that shot did really well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're looking at it now.
Yeah. And I probably posted that 2.5 weeks ago, something like that. But it is pretty interesting with the amount of people that are out there doing the same thing that I'm doing. You really have to be creative if you want to keep a strong following.
Right. Stevie's social media is filled with belly pics. He's kind of the only one out there doing it. He doesn't take a picture
fish
of the
belly.
fish. It just takes a picture of the belly of the fish.
Belly.
Yeah.
There's a semi-fish belly in here that I'm looking at the last member of the band.
Well, see, Stevie, you got some creativity.
Yeah, it's kind of like a partial fish belly, but it's not a full-on.
No,
I'm honestly wondering if maybe the creative angle isn't where I was going with the blocking type question. It's like, have you struggled to try to come up with a new way to shoot an event that you've maybe shot before? I get that, it's always going to be different, the facial expressions and all that stuff. But are you worried ever about, or do you struggle with it? Should I try to get the up angle or some creative way of capturing the same thing?
Have I not seen that picture before?
Right. That it is tough to come out and try and create something that you haven't seen before, and be one of the first to do it, because there's just so many people out there that are killer photographers. But it is tough to find something that somebody hasn't created, and that's why I enjoy following other photographers, just to help boost my morale of what I can accomplish. And I like to shoot. I'll take other people's photos and kind of critique them into my own style and how I would like to shoot it. But you're right. It does. A lot of times you do find that yourself when you're trying to take a photo, as far as your creativity, it can be pretty tough sometimes.
I don't have a fancy camera, but I enjoy taking the extra step, the going the extra mile to try to get a good picture of a close up of a pheasant against, the black mirror of my truck hood, with the sky and like those little things that make a difference. But I don't have like a block on creativity as much as I have a block on when, like, I'll get in these really creative moods where I want to take lots of pictures, like maybe a day or a week goes by and that's all I want to do is take pictures of everything. And there's other times where I just want to hunt and fish and don't even pick the camera up, It like sunsets and sunrises to me over the lake when I'm fishing are like, I'll stop fishing. That's a must, because there's some really beautiful sunsets and sunrises, and some of those you can do non-filtered, and I always find some of the amazing shots in life that you're able to catch by chance, and you put it out there and everybody's like, oh, what filter do you use? And I didn't. It's just one of those magic moments that the camera worked, and it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Especially with a cell phone or whatever. So
But cell phones are incredible nowadays. I mean, you can take some awesome images with cell phones, and that's one thing too it is a lot harder nowadays as a photographer, is because everybody can take a great image with their cell phone.
I think it's Apple. Don't quote me, but I believe there's I even think there's a short hunting video or a hunting movie or whatever, like award thing for shot off an Apple phone.
Is there?
Yeah, like little video awards and photo awards, all from iPhones or whatever, because they're just that good nowadays.
Yeah, using that as your canvas and brush.
Well, yeah, it's not your flip Nokia no more.
Yeah.
So
we're not playing Snake on a Nokia phone.
I miss that.
Guys that have Nextels have no clue what we're talking about.
Push the talk, baby.
Oh, I remember that.
I miss that.
Man. Yeah. Well, Justin, you mentioned you fish a lot, you hunt a lot. Let's move into that a little bit.
What he's asking specifically the fishing part.
Yeah, what he's asking you for is like GPS coordinates of your fishing spots.
GPS coordinates,
if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll make sure to get those to you once we hang up. Say goodbye. You have.
And I'll be right there.
To text you those coordinates, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you to lose them by giving them to you verbally. So
sure.
Thank you. It brings up a solid question that go on both those points, though. When you're taking like epic photos of an epic moment with fish that you've landed, do you turn the boat so that you don't have landmarks in the background for your spots?
That more or less has everything to do with the person I'm fishing with.
What about the people looking at your social media going, oh, I know where that is, so I know where to go fishing?
Well, I mean, majority, if you've noticed, a lot of my style is fish. It's about what you're doing. And a lot of people get caught up in the whole shot, the person catching the fish. The person catching the fish is important, but the way I shoot to show people the experience of the fish caught, not more or less everything else that goes behind you. So when I shoot, majority of my fine focal is on the fish. So it more or less blurs out a lot of the exterior image.
Sure. And it's got to be mind-boggling, the sheer numbers of a person holding a fish pictures that have been taken in history.
Oh my goodness.
It's got to be ridiculous. And your typical holding the fish out, standing on the boat, standing on the bank. And don't get me wrong, they're all wonderful memories, but you can only see so many of them before something new has to happen. And I'm glad you're doing something.
And that's something that has become a lot more difficult. I shoot for Saltwater Sportsman magazine.
That's a great magazine.
I'm a freelance photographer for them. They do a great job.
Yeah. You were on the cover of Saltwater Sportsman, weren't you?
I was. I've actually.
How does one do that?
When people talk about the power of social media, it's a real thing. I was hired by Saltwater Sportsman magazine via Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're living the dream.
Incredible. I open up my message box and here it is. Saltwater Sportsman has a message for me, and I had just gotten back from a yellowfin tuna fishing trip a month or two prior. And we had an epic trip. We caught some big tunas, caught some wahoo, you name it. We had an awesome time. I was with Hook and Gaff Watch Company when I was on that trip. But I was posting a lot of yellowfin tuna pictures, and they had ended up contacting me saying, "Hey, we love your stuff. We're looking for a yellowfin tuna photo." And I said, "Yeah, sure. I'll send you what I've got." And sure enough, that June, I had my first cover from them.
Nice.
Yeah, it was of one of my really good friends, Joey Taylor. He is a big redfish guy out of Charleston, and he was holding up 160-pound yellowfin tuna. And I thank God that he was on that boat, because I don't think I could have picked up 160-pound yellowfin tuna. So, no, but that was a special moment. The next following that June, I actually went out off the coast of South Carolina and did some dolphin fishing with a cool group called Operation Wet Vet, a nonprofit group that takes vets out that suffer from PTSD. And I shot a video for them on that trip, and I was taking photos while I was shooting video. And they needed a dolphin shot, and I ended up grabbing a pretty awesome dolphin shot, which I was holding a video camera and shooting with my still camera at the same time as this fish was coming over the boat. So
now you're rubbing it in.
trying to give you an idea of what was going on,
I thought Operation Wet Vet was Ryan's high school band's name.
It was originally.
I just thought
a guy named Ozzy Martinez created that. It's a super cool thing that he's got
really
going
cool.
on.
Yeah.
It helps vets out and gets them on the back of a boat and
Nice.
fishes with their fellow Marine guys, and it's a super cool thing they've got going on. But I was also on the boat with them. Hook and Gaff had sponsored that trip, and I shoot a lot for Hook and Gaff Watch Company, and Michael Sims, the owner of that company, has put me on some excellent adventures with him. So I got a dolphin shot that next July, or the following month. So I got back-to-back covers in my first 2 months working for Saltwater Sportsman.
Oh, nice.
So that was super cool.
You know what I don't see on your Instagram? I don't see a really gnarly, ugly, yellow spotted, giant mouth, predatory, beautiful flathead in the dark being landed off a kayak. I'm not sure if it's been done yet.
Well, there's always those opportunities, right? We can always
we have an extra
find some artificial light for us, though.
We got an extra kayak. I'm just saying.
All right, well, I might take you up on that.
Absolutely.
Don't make threats, bud. We'll hold you to it.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, this is being recorded.
Yeah.
We can send Deke down with the John boat. Deke can hold the lantern for us.
Yeah,
the artificial light.
I'm telling you, man, it's catfishing that has a following of its own, man. Freshwater fishing. It's like this guy out of Texas does a bunch of carp fishing, and carp fishing is blowing up, especially on the fly.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
He was asking me about taking photo, or he's getting into photos, and I looked at his page, and he's got some really cool stuff, but I'm like, dude, it's still a carp though. It's a carp.
How do you dress that up?
Yeah, it's
putting
this
lipstick
big,
on a pig.
Fat carp. And I just, he was like, dude, you got to come down here and take some photos with me. And I was like, I'd love to, but I'm telling you, carp. I don't know of my following would like to see carp. So I'm just kidding with that. But going back to like catfish, like freshwater fishing, you either have to be a bass guy, a catfish guy, or a carp guy, and you have to love that and follow that. But if you're not posting, I've found that if you're not posting these exotic saltwater fish, your following is down.
Oh, amen.
I believe that.
Nobody wants to see my 7-inch bass I caught on topwater yesterday, and I was so proud of it.
Right. I mean, it's weird. It's certainly weird, but most of your follows that you find, the people that follow you, they obviously follow you for a reason, whether they love your content, they love to see saltwater fish or whatever. But I don't know. It's weird. You post, you shy away from your normal posting, and I don't know. People tend to get rid of you.
I don't know how much vacation time you have, but I was scrolling and I was waiting for a peacock bass to pop up.
I was going to say the peacock
It never
bass
happened, and I was.
I know.
I got to the bottom, and I wanted to throw the phone into the floor.
I have not. That is a fish that I have not gotten yet, and I've had a couple opportunities that just kind of fell through, not to get into a peacock, but that is definitely one that I need to get into. I've got I've got quite a few friends down in Florida that catch them all the time, and
yeah,
I don't know. Luckily with my job, my boss is I manage a hunting and fishing store in Columbia, so my boss.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it's
talk
kind
about
of
living the dream.
I was going to say you're rubbing it in again.
I hadn't even said anything about that yet. I was waiting for a good moment.
Right,
so I manage
after Ryan tells you about his cubicle job.
What else would you like to divulge? It's time to get it all out on the table. Because
how much time do we have?
I'm going to start referring to you as Deke.
That's
a co-host of ours.
It just every time he gets on the mic, he has something brand new or something. He never told the group. So
let's give this shop a shameless plug while we're here.
Yeah,
let's talk about
what's
that.
the name of it?
It's Barron's Outfitters, Barrons Outfitters. It's in the heart of Columbia, and it's my whole life. I kind of thought about wanting to own a hunting and fishing store of my own. Since I've worked there for so long, I have found out that I don't want to own a hunting and fishing store of my own.
That makes sense.
So I've enjoyed my tenure there. My boss, his name's Kent Parsons, and I've actually worked there for almost a decade. Which is a long time to be in a store.
Yeah.
But it's a super cool store. We do long guns. Don't do anything with handguns. But we do hunting and fishing supplies. Obviously, we're a fly shop. We've got all sorts of cool gear at the shop. We're a Beretta dealer, a Filson dealer. We've got a lot of really cool high end brands that we sell. Sims, Avco. Bunch of cool brands. So
we may have already covered this, but so I apologize. But so hypothetically speaking, if I don't know where this town is you're talking about, where are we at?
We're in Columbia, South Carolina, the capital of South Carolina. So.
Yeah, I don't know where Columbia is. That's my fault. Where's that at from Santee Cooper?
From Santee?
Yeah.
You're about an hour and a half northeast.
So by Charlotte?
We're about an hour south of Charlotte.
Okay, I know exactly where you are. Keep going.
Oh, he just triangulated it.
I enjoy living here because I can be in the mountains in 2 hours, or I can be at the coast in an hour and 30.
And we're learning that about South Carolina. And
yeah.
We've had now several guests, on the show from South Carolina, and it just seems like they're taking advantage of it all. Like I didn't realize that, maybe similar to this area, the north, you're 3 hours away from anything you want, but down there they got the mountains, they got the beach,
the ocean,
they got the,
if you want to go north or south, it's a quick flight too.
Yeah.
You already cut flight time in half everywhere.
Sure. You certainly are. It's a cool place. I've always enjoyed South Carolina. I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, but my home is South Carolina. My grandfather owns a farm down in the Low Country, and that's more or less what has sprung me into an outdoorsman that I am, because I grew up hunting and fishing with him. Obviously with my brothers and my dad as well, but I really got my start from him, and he's the only one that I'll ever give credit to for starting my passion for the outdoors.
What did he use to hook you into that? Hunting, fishing, and what for?
We do a lot of whitetail hunting down on his place. We do a lot of whitetail hunting, and we do a lot of fishing in ponds down there. I'll tell you what, some of my favorite favorite times ever fishing. I go out on a boat, go offshore or whatever, but I tell you what, a topwater plug and a farm pond, you can't really beat that.
Nice.
Amen.
He started me young. He started all of us young, all of his grandkids. He's got 6 grand boys and 1 granddaughter. So, I mean, we're spending time with him in the summer months, and he's a farmer. So I spent a lot of my summers picking watermelons when I'm 7 years old in a field in the heart of August.
Boy, if you knew then what you knew now, going back, some old farms that people drive by, never take a second look at, would have some amazing, like, black and white close-up photography. Old broken barns, old rusty tractors, falling down fences, you know, there's just some really beautiful sights on a farm that people walk by and never even look at, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. I mean, I was down there Tuesday, and my grandfather's 86 years old. And I kind of made a joke to a guy today. I was showing him some photos that I had taken of my grandfather. If you notice, like the previous 3 that I posted before the one I posted tonight of the ducks, I was down there on Tuesday and we were planting, and I was making a joke to a guy I worked with. I was like, if you don't wear, you can always tell a farmer as if he's got this ragged Dickies onesie that he zips up and zips down to get it out of every day. I was like, that's your farmer.
Yeah.
That guy is a true farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather wears one every single day. But he was out there, you know, we were getting ready for put our fall mix in the ground on Tuesday, and 86 years old riding a tractor, putting seed in the ground. So it's cool. It's work ethic. I mean, I work 2 jobs. There's a lot of people that work way more than I do, but his job sense and his work ethic has instilled in all of his grandkids, because we see that he still gets after it every day.
I'm not so sure I would classify what you're doing as work.
Sure.
From what you've told me, it sure sounds like your day sucks every day.
Right. You caught me. Hang up the phone now. I've been made.
But you know what? I'm happy that we got to talk. I'm happy, and I'm blessed. I feel blessed for you that you get to enjoy doing. Not many people get to do what they love to do for a living versus, you know, working in the hunting store, photography, and
sure.
That's God blessing. You know,
there's hardships that come with that. It's not all, you know, great things as far as it's but it's certainly a great time. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be put in places, and I've had a great experience with all of it. And I'm blessed, more or less, and very thankful for the opportunities that I've been given along the way.
Yeah.
I don't think, more or less, without my job at Barron's, would I have been able to start this for more or less. Like if I was doing something else, I might not have ever even tapped into photography.
Wow. Call me whenever you're hiring 2. Grab my wife, and we'll be down.
We got a spot open right now. Come on down.
You got you know, Stevie blows glass or something for a living. You know, me and Will stand in radiation all day long to help other people, and you got 2 computer gurus over here.
That costs $30 more.
Yeah. And so it's literally not that we all hate our jobs, but I guarantee you every minute of every day these guys are dreaming about being outside.
Yeah.
Sure.
I always check that willing to relocate box.
Yes. Yeah. So I got one final. We're running up on time. I got one last question for you, and typically my favorite question is to ask people about like their bucket list hunt, but for you, it's going to be different. What is it that if you know time off work and money wasn't an object, where would you go in the world to take some pictures? You know, like. It could be Egypt, Africa.
Wow.
What's your bucket list photo shoot?
Well, I would definitely say Africa would be one. Definitely, because you can't be a photographer and not want to go to Africa.
I would like to see your skills in Africa, though, to bring back something different.
I would love to be there and do that one day for sure.
I've never seen the bottom of a Nile crocodile. Can you do the belly pick?
Belly pick.
The belly pick. Okay. Sure.
It's got to be alive now to make it.
Let me
Like
me
a
work
half
on
Nelson,
my
kind of roll it over.
aquatic camera housing and see if we can get that shot going. But no, that would certainly be one of my top 3 for sure.
New Zealand.
My brother,
New Zealand's beautiful.
New Zealand's incredible. I've been to New Zealand before, but that was not when I was shooting photos.
I think they filmed The Hobbit
there. Been to Australia, but that was also not. I hit New Zealand and Australia.
And you came back alive? It doesn't.
I did.
Doesn't everything in Australia kill you? Like including the beer and water?
It's all poisonous.
Spiders and snakes.
Luckily, I was underage at the time.
Luckily.
Beer, the Foster's was not flowing in my water bottles at that.
I'm fairly certain they just have like a 360-degree sign around Sydney that says, "Past this point, you will die."
Yeah,
at some point.
I would certainly believe that. But definitely New Zealand would definitely be there. I would love to get back to Australia. But one of my favorite places that I've been personally and didn't have a camera in my hand. I was taking photos with my phone at the time. My brother got married in Dominica and in Costa Rica. And we spent, 8 days in Costa Rica at, I can't exactly remember the resort we were at, but it was more of like a bungalow style. Like everything's open. You sleep out more or less in the open. There's not air conditioning or anything like that. And the sunrises and the sunsets were just phenomenal. And that's one place I need to get back to shoot those sunrises and those sunsets.
You got to be careful in them third world countries. I had my camera stuff stolen in Roatan, Honduras.
Yeah, I could. That is true. I've spent another place that I did go last summer. Not this previous one, but the one before. I went to the Abacos and spent a week in the Abacos, just hanging out and shooting photos, and that's a beautiful place too. But there's, I don't know, if I sat here, I could probably ramble off a bunch of places that I would love to go. And there's even places in the United States that I haven't even gone. I don't venture out west enough, or barely any. I went out, did some Kansas duck hunting last January for 10 days. But I need to get out to the canyons and, Wyoming. I need to get out there and shoot.
I was flipping through and I want to kind of just mention it because I just found it so captivating. It was the way you shoot dogs and canines and,
Yeah.
It just seems like you bring out whatever, you capture their personality or their soul or whatever it is. But the dogs have like this, whatever. They have a million expressions and every dog's, just a little bit different. It almost looks like every hair is jumping off of the dog.
Yeah. Dogs are fun to shoot.
It's amazing.
Some dogs are more fun than other dogs to shoot, of course. But take, for instance, I have the black lab. Her name's Abby. She's a sweet soul. I don't know if I'll ever have a dog like her. She's a blessing. I've had her for 10 years come November. And when I first started shooting, she would let me take photos of her. And now she's impossible to take photos of. She knows my game. She smells me out as soon as I start unzipping my bag. I mean, she's a struggle, but I still can catch her in some moments. Like I think there was a shot I posted a couple of days ago of her with her hand on her paw, more or less just hanging out. And then there was a shot of her getting out of the pool and shaking off.
I think they're agonizing. They're agonizing to take. I got to go 1, 2, 3, cookie snap.
Yeah.
So their ears perk up and they look at me. It's
Well,
like half
the
a
nice
second
thing
or they're not looking no more.
Is I spent a lot of money on my equipment. I took out a pretty sizable loan to get great stuff. And my camera shoots really fast. And so those kind of shots are a lot of fun because my camera will shoot about 16 frames a second.
Man.
So it more or less doesn't to be, hey, look at me. It's more or less, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you go back kind of and find which one looked the coolest and go from there. But dogs are, I don't know if you guys saw that shot. I actually won an award for it in the South Carolina Wildlife magazine 2 years ago. It was a shot of the cockers on a tailgate.
Yeah.
There's quail lined up all behind them. And then there's 3 cockers sitting in front of a dog box. And probably one of my favorite photos I've taken because it kind of worked out. I had 3 quail in all the dogs' mouths. There's 3 dogs set up on this tailgate, and the middle dog more or less dropped his right before I was about to shoot. And I took one shot, and the guys I was with was like, "You want to put the quail back in the dog's mouth?" And I was like, I looked at it, I was like, "Nope, that was the most perfect shot right there." And it turned out pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's what they call a 3-dog night.
Yeah, I called that one. That one's called Family Tradition.
Yeah.
All 3 of those cockers are off the same bloodline.
Very cool.
Boss,
I hate to. Yeah, I'm sorry to get down on the dog tangent, but
no, it was perfect because right before we got on that, I was going to say, unfortunately, we're wrapping up on time, but big fan of your photography. And,
well, I appreciate that.
I have like some weird gut feelings sometimes. I know that your dream was down a hunting and fishing store, and we all want to bless you on your adventures and photography. We'll continue to follow you, and literally. This weird gut feeling that that I don't think it's going to be a hunting and fishing store for you. I think one day it's going to be a hunting and fishing photography class where people can come and learn how to do it right. Yeah, and
well, I certainly appreciate that, and I'm thankful to be on here and talking with you guys. So I know we had talked a couple of weeks ago and didn't get it to work out, but I'm glad we fit it back in the schedule to get on here and talk to you guys. I've thoroughly appreciated it, and I've enjoyed talking with you guys.
Let's do a follow up down the road, and
you got my number. I can't say I'm going to send you those coordinates, but you still have my number.
Well, one more time, Justin, for everybody, what's the best way for them to keep an eye on everything you got going on?
You can follow me on Instagram at J Hodge Productions. My website is www.jhodgeproductions.com. It's one word, J Hodge Productions. And you can see my work there, and kind of follow along with what I'm doing. But I'm enjoying it. So hopefully, I've got hunting seasons is up and coming, and we've got a lot to do. So I'm super excited about what's coming this fall and winter.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, right on.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Justin. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, fellas. Y'all have a great night.
All right.
You too, bud.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, bud.
Right,
Dude, well, we're not taking pictures. And where can they find us?
Well, they can always find us at ruttenriverpursuits.com. The podcast itself always available iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox. Nice. We're always available and updating stuff on all of your social media properties, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel, Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. You guys are so good at that.
All right. Native How, take us out.
Play us out.
Get them.
Rig 'em weedless.
Peace.
Is if you're a photographer, you more or less see the whole picture of what's going on. And I find myself finding at least one photo in my mind every day when I wake up. Throughout my day, I look and see what's going on around me and take a mental picture, whether I have my camera or I don't. I don't really like to talk about myself, but we'll try to.
You have to get over that.
Yeah. Try to get through this as best we can.
This is the closest thing to like a alien probing, so
awesome.
Yeah, you won't have to think too much.
Good.
And you won't remember it tomorrow.
So
We'll put you back.